All right, folks. Sorry we're running a little bit late this evening. Had some technical difficulties that we just got sorted out. Glad to see you. Glad to have you here this evening. It's going to be PS4 tonight at Silverstone. We are currently getting everybody together. Tonight I will not have Mr. Guskowski with me, so it's going to be just my magical golden voice that you're going to hear this evening. I'm sure you don't mind, though. I'm a hell of a great guy to have as company. Hope everybody's been having a good Monday. I know it's a Monday, but let me slide on that one. It can be a good day. We are currently getting our racers together. Looks like our PS4 pack is going to be pretty big tonight. We've got Daryl Jr. returning from last week. Hines, of course, is here as always. Mr. Al Bear joining us again. I will bet that boy is going to speed up a little more. I believe Josh Harden is going to be back with us. And it ain't just Daryl Jr. tonight, it's Daryl as well. So he and his dad, which is exciting to see. Reckless is back, Kentaw is back, and Rude is back along with Vengeance. And, of course, as always, the guy that's always messing with Hines, Oba, is back as well. So, glad to see all the racers. Glad anybody that's watching now or watching after the fact, thank you for watching. We'll see how this evening goes. Hope everybody's looking forward to it as much as I am. We are in round 12. People, there are like 19 rounds. We are over halfway through the season. That is kind of exciting. I am actually genuinely enjoying this. So, we'll see how it goes. The next season's going to be even more exciting. This one, we've got a few prizes and such lined up for the racers as well, though we haven't had official statements about that yet. So, that will be coming. So, we're just waiting on everybody to ready up here. I'm keeping an eye on the group chat just to make sure everything looks good. And we will see how it goes. We also gave a little extra time to make sure anybody that thought, hey, are they starting this evening or not, could, tune in if they wanted. Not too many folks watching right now, but we'll see as the races go on. I appreciate the folks that are watching. All right, there we go. Looks like everybody is ready. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. We will start our Moto 3 qualifying for Silverstone on the PS4. Alrighty. Every day is good if it's a race day, right? Nothing to complain about there. Now, obviously, we've moved over to our new account. Previously, we were doing it on my Gurren Riding account. But we have moved over to our more permanent home on the Southern E-Racing League, Searle. We're going to get surly about this. Who knows? Maybe at some point I'll figure out a way to put it on the Gurren account as well. Because I know I had a bunch of folks tuning in through there. All right, as we wait for things to get started here, we've got everybody getting ready to get out on the track. Just waiting on things to get started there. Waiting for folks to get out there. All right, we got people getting out there already. And I am having an audio problem, so give me just a moment while I get that fixed. Holy crap. This guy goes to all this work and then he doesn't understand how to use his own stuff. Go figure. Worthless. Absolutely worthless. Alright. Let's get this sorted out here. Alright. Now I'm hearing things correctly. There we go. So there we see Reckless back. He was not here last week. Glad to see him here. And of course, as usual, we've got Oba and Hines out there. As always, making trouble for everybody. Just because that's what they do. 8.5 minutes remaining. We've got just about everybody out on the track at this point. Just Hines and Bear waiting to get out there. There you can see. Oh, wow. Harden way off into the... Wow! Get those crashes out of the way early, boys. Get that out of your system early. Oba looking solid as always. We'll see what he can do this evening. What kind of magic he's got up his sleeve for this evening. A couple of folks resetting. We'll see how fast everybody manages to set a lap this evening. We've got a pretty large field for the PS4. Normally we do not have a field of 10 competitors, so it's nice to see. We'll see how it winds up looking. It's all said and done here. And there we go. Oba setting a 2:18.609. For his first lap there. Harden setting a lap 19 seconds behind him. That's going to need a little bit of improvement. Vengeance putting down 10 seconds behind Oba. A few folks need a little bit of work on this track this week. There we go. Darrell Jr. sitting down 4.7 seconds behind the lead. As he's working on getting the track sorted out now. Five minutes, 30 seconds remaining in our warm-ups. So everybody's working at getting warmed up, getting settled into the track, working on qualifying. You can see Rude there just about to finish his first lap. See if we can find him real quick. There you go, Rude, 20 seconds off, so it's looking like Oba having a commanding lead over everybody else during qualifying so far. You'll see if everyone else can pull it together. You can see Albert there starting to work on setting his first lap. Let's take a little peek in on how he's looking here.
I'm nowhere near Oba's time. Dude, get off the race line.
You can hear a little bit of chatter there between the racers. You can see there Bear coming across for his first lap of 2:22.9, putting him right about a little over 6 seconds down from Oba for the moment. We'll see what he can do to tidy that up a little bit. As we are looking at 3 minutes 45 seconds remaining in qualifying. Daryl Jr. at this point sitting 10 seconds ahead of Dad. We'll see how that goes. I'm kind of hoping that that dad-son rivalry can turn into a good fight, and there you go. There's Dad putting down now only 6 seconds behind Junior. I'm hoping that'll be one of the better fights in the race. Hopefully they can get it to the point where they're fighting each other. Nobody will mind seeing a little bit of squabbling in the family there. Bear, meanwhile, has pitted in. We'll see if he decides to get out there and give it a try for another lap. Rude, meanwhile, just about to finish his second lap. We'll see what he does with it. Hopefully he can bring that time down just a bit. And there he goes, down to 13 seconds behind Oba. Reckless, meanwhile, just about to finish another lap as well. Let's see what he has there. Vengeance also working on finishing his second lap. Reckless bringing it down to 4.1 below Oba. Good improvement. Very, very nice. As we're sitting 1:40 down, it looks like anybody that's out on the track this point, they might get one, maybe a couple more laps in, and that's about it, as we are just about through qualifying with 1.5 minutes remaining. There you go. Vengeance moving down to 9.7 seconds behind Daryl Jr. Sitting at 5.8. Not really managing to move it down much. And Oba at a 2:16.7. Still in the lead. But so far not looking like he's going to move that time down at all. Daryl Sr. probably going to stay at that 11 for now. Yep, Oba still at that 2:16.7, as we're still waiting to see what the end result here is. You can see Bear there working on setting himself another lap. Let's see what he gets. He's sitting in 4th currently. There is 20 seconds remaining in qualifying on his clock there. This is going to be his last lap for qualifying. And Vengeance having a bit of an off. And looking like everybody at this point, looks like we have Reckless, Daryl Jr., Bear, Vengeance, Daryl Sr., Rude, Harden, and Hines still out on the track working on their qualifying laps. We'll see what we get here. Ooh, and Rude having a bit of an off at 0 on qualifying times. I think that'll be about it for him. That'll probably take him out of qualifying. And we're looking at Bear here, looking at his lap. He's setting a personal best for... Yep, looking good so far. Personal best for the first and second section. Oh, Daryl Sr. having a bit of an off. Oh, in the way of Bear. Woo. Bear going ahead and taking advantage of that. Using Daryl Sr. as a bit of an improvised berm. Meanwhile, Hines about to set his solitary lap for qualifying. He is 3.8 seconds off of Oba. That'll put him on the front row, along with Reckless still. we'll see if Bear manages to bump somebody off of the front row. Ooh, look at this.
There you go.
And there you are. So there it is. Your front row will be Oba, Bear, and Hines. Bear managing to put himself up in second there at the last moment. Reckless, Daryl Jr., and Vengeance will be your second row. Daryl Sr., Rude, and Harden finishing out your third row, and Kentaw rounding out the back of the pack. So there we go. That'll be it, and we're just about to start Moto 3 for PS4 at Silverstone. I'm glad everybody's watching. Let's see. Oh, that's not good. Spammers on chat. Go to hell. Who wants to see that? So, waiting on everybody to get through their final selection for final drive and everything else. Tires, etc. Letting everybody finish dialing bikes in. Glad to see a few folks have joined us. Hopefully you'll enjoy the cast. Hopefully it won't be too intolerable for your tastes. I know, everybody that watches us has discerning taste. But hopefully it'll be an enjoying evening for you. Or enjoyable, rather. Holy, I can't speak English anymore. Alrighty. Just a little bit of time remaining and looking like just about everybody is ready to go. As we are about to start our Moto 3 race for PS4 at Silverstone. And there it is. Everybody looking readied up. We are ready to go. And this will be the first race of the evening. Hope you're as excited as I am. What is the camera doing here? Why is it doing this to us? All right, well, you know, there's always that option. So there we go. Oba with a solid hole shot. Just rips right out in front of the pack. Very good takeoff. Ooh. I don't know exactly what I'm seeing swing wide there in the turn one. Oba takes off and starts leaving the field immediately. You can see a bit of shuffling there for second place. A fight between Daryl Jr. and Bear, but Bear coming out on top for now. Looking very nice. Woo! Good start to the evening. Look at all the fighting for competition. Oh yeah, man, everybody is looking for a place this evening. Though let's take a look. Hines didn't set a very high qualifying lap, so you can see him here near the back of the pack. At least for him it is. Oh my God, he's already caught up to Bear. Oh, Rude having a bit of an off. So there you've got Hines all over Bear coming down the back straight and ooh! Oh, wow! Hines with an off.
Corner, buddy.
Oh, my. And Bear just keeps it up. Tells Hines, get out of here with that BS. Just shoos him off. Very nicely done. So you can see there, Reckless now sitting in third, just behind Bear, thanks to Hines' mistake there. But you can also see Bear keeping a much tighter line than Reckless is, and looking very nice, but Reckless not completely losing sight of him, so he's doing something right there. As there they are. Now we are starting lap 2. Oba has managed to stretch out his lead over Bear to 4.6 seconds. But Reckless not letting go of a chance at second place. Not looking too bad so far. We'll see if he can make it happen. Being incredibly aggressive. Oh, Bear's starting to stretch it out on Reckless. It's going to be rough to catch up to that. Gonna be very rough. And at this point, I see we have Hines sitting 4.6 seconds back off of Reckless. Darrell Jr. 4.5 seconds back off of that. That's a bit of a rare situation. Oba, meanwhile, has stretched out his lead over Bear to 6.5 seconds, and Reckless just can't catch up to Bear. Looking like an evening where folks are just kind of stretching it out on us. You can see here Oba up front looking absolutely phenomenal this evening. Obviously having done a great job practicing. Oh! You can see there Harden having an off, unfortunately. Bit of a rough evening for him. We'll see if he can get it back together. Meanwhile, Darrell Sr. and Darrell Jr. having just a bit of a fight between them. Or rather, maybe having a fight between them. Not much space between the two. Maybe they can make that happen. As you can see, Harden here trying to crawl up on Darrell Sr. We'll see what he can do with that. Oh, and you can see Reckless having it off. Oh, and Harden way outside on turn 9. Having a bit of a problem there. Oh, man. And again on the outside of 11. 10, 11, 12, and 13 being the chicanes here. Oh! And there we go. Harden having a bit of an off. That is a rough one there. Hopefully he can catch that back up at some point. Meanwhile, you can see Oba there has started on his third lap, or rather, excuse me, is halfway through his third lap. Just looking very solid, having a very good race. And Hines normally all over him. Not exactly up on him this evening. Oh, as Harden has another off. Meanwhile, Reckless finds himself currently behind Hines. Hines has managed at this point to work his way up to third. We'll see if Reckless can sneak in there behind him. Rude having another off, unfortunately. And Oba at this point having stretched it out to 15 seconds over Bear in second. But by no means is second and third decided. Reckless is sitting back 1.8 seconds off of Hines. Hines 2.1 seconds off of Bear. So second and third is up for grabs still. There he is. That part of the race has not been decided at all. You can see there, Reckless. We are looking at him currently in third. He is slowly falling back off of Hines, who is now working his way towards Bear. He's actually starting to get a view of him. You can see there from his view. Whoops, that is not the one I wanted. There we go. You can see there Hines with a view of Bear looking very close. Look at this, trying to get the pass, but Bear deciding not to make it easy.
Hey, Al, let's try not to park it in this corner.
Oh, look at Hines looking for the outside, but Bear not making it easy. Very nice line through 12.
In the corner.
Ooh. Oh. Hines trying, I think, not to hit Bear there, slipping up under him. Bear just swings way too wide through 14, and Hines slips on through into 15.
Oba, 18-second gap.
Meanwhile, Oba just flying out ahead of the group. You can see here just looking incredibly solid this evening. You can see here from Bear's view. Trying to catch back up to Hines, but Hines just starting to pull away. I don't think he'll catch Oba. Seeing as there's still, what are we looking at here? A good 18 and a half seconds ahead. I don't think Hines will catch him on that, but he's going to make his best effort at it. Oba better not make any mistakes now. You can see Bear there holding very solid laps for a guy that just jumped over the PS4, 1-2 weeks ago? Not looking too bad at all. But it's going to be hard to catch up to what's up ahead of him.
This is going to be the best hairpin I've ever done. Watch. Coming for you, Gary.
Meanwhile, you can see Reckless here back and forth. Darrell Jr. just about 3.5 seconds off of him. Reckless sitting about 3.1 seconds off of Bear. Ooh, and he has managed to close it to 1.6. A little bit tight and inside, but he's still managing to hang in there. Looks like he is starting to threaten Bear. We'll see what he can do. Reckless looking to pick up a third place this evening.
Yep.
That would certainly be interesting if he can do it. You can see there off the rear of Bear. Reckless trying to sneak up on him. We'll see if he can do it. Definitely looking aggressive. but Bear looking amazingly good through 17. Through that really difficult hairpin. Or through 7, excuse me. I don't know what I was thinking there. My brain was on the wrong part of the track. Track has a lot of hairpins. Oh, Rude having another off, unfortunately. Reckless having it off, unfortunately, and that is probably going to cost him the opportunity to catch up to Bear as we start into our final lap of this evening's Moto 3 race. So here we go. You can see Oba working his way around the track. Coming through 5, just about to start 6. Looking very solid. Most of our field stretched out at this point, so the likelihood of any churn, so long as anybody doesn't wreck in the middle of the pack or above, probably won't see much in the way of changes here. Oba looking very solid through 7. Wheeling, I guess he realized his camera's on him right now. I don't know. You never know with Oba. Meanwhile, Hines back behind him, coming through 17, or coming through. Whoa. I think something weird with how the game's labeling that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't tell me that.
Oh!
I couldn't have if I wanted to, but I had a 2.6 second penalty.
Fuck?
I ran right to the back of you. If I wanted to steal it from you, I would have gone around you.
And there we go.
Yeah.
Hines and Oba finishing the race first and second. Bear just coming up behind him in third. And there you are. That'll be your first race of the evening. Oba, Hines, and Bear sitting on your podium. Daryl Jr., Reckless and Vengeance. 4, 5, and 6. Daryl Sr. and Rude rounding out the pack in 7th and 8th. And that'll be your first race of the evening. Next up, we'll be moving on to Moto 2 at Silverstone on the PS4. Give us a brief break and we will be right back. Thank you very much for watching. Alrighty, folks, we are waiting for everybody to ready up for Moto 2 qualifying. We will see how this one goes. Hope everybody's having a good evening. For those of you that have joined us, thank you as always for watching. Hope you're having a good evening. Hope you're at least a little bit entertained. I always feel like the day's a little better with racing involved. And there we are. Everybody has readied up at this point. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to starting up for Moto 2 qualifying. See, I even know how to operate the controller now. I'm not a total boomer. Not a total, but a mostly boomer. Hang on just a moment. And we will be loaded there. Alrighty, folks. Qualifying just about to start. Alrighty. You can see there, Oba out on the track early. We will see how everything goes for qualifying this time. Last race, Oba dominated it really hard, even harder than he normally does. Not sure what was up with that. I think some of these PS4 boys need to give it a little more practice. They want to keep up with him. Even Hines having a bit of difficulty keeping up with that one. Though, to be fair, I don't think he was planning the race this evening, so that puts him a little down on what we would normally expect. So, Oba looking solid through Section 2. Reckless not far behind him. Kenta, Vengeance, Daryl, Rude, Darrell Jr. all out on the track at this point. Everybody trying to work their way up the rankings. Bear's still in the pits, working on his settings a little bit. Maybe that'll pay dividends for him. We'll see what he can do. 7.5 minutes remaining in qualifying. Ooh, Reckless having it off. And resetting, he's going to give that lap another try. So that'll put Kenta, our furthest along, behind Oba. And Vengeance just behind him. Ooh, Kenta having it off as well. And another. We'll see if he can get that together. Oba, meanwhile, putting down a 209.218. We'll see how it looks from here. And there you go. Vengeance now 8.3 seconds off of Oba's 209.2. And there you go. Daryl Sr. putting down 4.804 seconds. Hines managing to put down a 207.2. Putting Oba 1.9 seconds back off of him. It looked like all that Hines needed was a little time to get warmed up, and now he may very well punish Oda for that. Oh no! And Oba having an off. That was rough. Meanwhile, Bear is out on the track for his first lap, not setting group best so far. We'll see what he can do with what he's got there. Ooh. And Daryl Jr. and Oba having offs as well. You can see right now our qualifying leader, Hines, on the back straight there. It's looking like Moto 2 is going to be a bit more competitive this time. We have Hines, Oba, and Bear sitting first, second, third. Rude and Daryl Sr. sitting just off of that. 6 seconds off, basically. Both of them within half a second of each other. Vengeance at 8 seconds. Daryl Jr. and Reckless still working on getting the lap completed. Rude manages to bump Bear out of third currently into fourth. Good work by Rude. Very, very nicely done. As Hines is pulled into the pits and is looking to just change his settings around a little bit, getting himself sorted out. Definitely a bit of a change from the beginning of the season when he was pretty much all about, oh, I just run default settings. He has been forced to step up his game as the season has gone along. Meanwhile, Bear, personal best so far through the first 3 sections. Let's see if he can move himself up just a bit in the standings. You can see there Daryl Jr. and Oba right in front of him. That's a little annoying to have during qualifying.
Ooh, sorry.
Ooh, as he slips on through. And there it is, a 209.4, not looking bad at all. That'll be good enough to put him back in third, just behind Oba. Bear looking like he's going to be very, very solid for Moto 2. Ah, okay. I was looking at an old version of the map, and I had the turn numbers wrong. Whoops. Your commentator is garbage. I just want all of you to know that. Bear looking like he's having a great lap so far. 2 personal bests. Not going to get to the front of the pack, but maybe he can get himself ahead of Oba. let's take a look at how that is looking. A decent line through 14. Not looking too bad into 15. We'll see if he can knock the time down. First 3 sections looking great. Oh, a bit wide through 16. Hopefully he can tighten it up into 17. Don't be afraid on that exit. And looking good through there. Puts down a 210.351. Doesn't quite look like that's going to be enough to move him into second. And there we go. Qualifying is over. This will be the last for everybody that's still out on the track. The field looking tighter than last time. No more than 10 seconds between everybody in the field. Hines set in the front of the pack with a 207.2. Oba at 1.984. Bear at 2.242 off of that. And Rude 4.359 seconds back off. Vengeance finishes up his lap. Looks like, unfortunately, he's not going to move up at the standings, and there's not much he can do about it at this point. Oh, and Bear, while having a decent lap, not quite amazing lap. Oh, he has a bit of an off. That'll probably be it for him in qualifying. Meanwhile, Hines continuing to set group bests. Looks like he may manage. Oh, there we go. Reckless puts himself in at 5th. Having not put in a lap yet, it is good to put yourself in there. 5 seconds off of Hines. So Hines just about to come in. Looks like he will probably move the time down just a bit more. And there you go, a 206.8. Unfortunately, it looks like our second, third, and fourth have all been disqualified from putting another lap down for one reason or another. So there is going to be your standing for Moto 2. It's going to be Hines, Oba, Bear on your front row. Rude, Reckless, Daryl Sr. on your second row, and then Vengeance and Daryl Jr. on your third row. So now we'll move on to everybody getting ready for actually doing your Moto 2 race on PS4 at Silverstone. Waiting for everybody to get their last setups here. We will see what we get from this actual race. This one looks to be like it's going to be a bit closer than Moto 3 was. Probably we'll get a better race out of this one. Alrighty, looking like just about everyone is ready. As we are just about to start Moto 2 at Silverstone on the PS4. Hope everybody's excited. Let's get to it. And there we are. It is about time. We are going to go ahead and get started. There we go. Everyone has readied up. This is it. This will be our second race of the evening. This will be Moto 2 on Silverstone on the PS4. This camera angle it starts us off with is so odd. So there you go. You can see Hines on the front row. Oba getting in tight on him and taking the lead coming into turn one. Woo! What an aggressive trip into turn one. And there you can see from Bear's view. Wow! Wow! That trip into turn four. Oh, as Daryl Sr. shoving his way into the pack. Oh, but look at that. Blocked out by Daryl, or excuse me, by Reckless there. You can see here Daryl Sr. giving Al Bear a run for his money. As they come into turn 7, ooh, look at this Bear getting challenged all the way around the track. Nobody wanting to let him have it easily. Looking like a good fight. And there he goes, Daryl Sr. again. Oh, but way off in the grass, and Reckless manages to push up there. Reckless in third, but who knows how long he'll hold on to it if he winds up in the grass like that too often. Yep, with Bear right there nipping at his heels. Looking like a few guys are just getting thrown out. Oh! Wow! Look at that pass! A good amount of rubbing. As Bear manages to push into first. Hey, and Reckless having a hell of a showdown in this fight for third. Oba, meanwhile, only 0.7 seconds off of Hines up there in second. And if the fight for third place can get through... Oh, no! Reckless! Finding himself falling out. And that gives Bear a very solid third all to himself. And it's looking like at this point in the race, amusingly enough, we've got a bit of a fight here between Daryl Sr. and Daryl Jr. You can see there, Jr. just in front of Sr. as they are just coming into the straight. Yep, down the hanger straight, coming into 7. Ooh, Junior giving Senior a run for his money through the turn there. A good shot. And it looked like a good pass until he flew to the outside of 8. Oh, man. So Junior going to stay ahead for now. Meanwhile, between Oba and Hines, it looking like Oba is starting to manage to crawl up on Hines, trying to chase him down, not letting him have it easy. You can see there, Oba all over Hines, not letting him get away with this easily. Look at this as they are both down through 17. Through 18, and Hines managing to stay out ahead of Oba. We'll see how it looks down the front straight here as we are starting the third lap of this race in Moto 2. Whoa! Oba very wide. Oh, look at him creeping up through Hines, through the chicanes. Ooh, this is some aggressive pushing by Oba. Not bad at all. Both of them having great rhythm through there. Making it really hard. Oh, man, I don't know if I look at that. Oba very, very, very deep into that turn as late as he could on the brakes. As he is trying like hell to get on the brakes and get Hines through every turn. And look at this, starting to catch up. Leaving turn 9, not looking too bad. Turn 10. Woo! Hines is going to have to work to stay ahead. Yep, Oba sticking with him through 11. This is a solid fight. Oh, and Darrell Sr. having an off. That is disappointing. He was actually having a great race, not far behind Junior, and now that puts him 6.6 seconds down. That's too bad. I was glad to see that those two were at it with each other. As we continue to watch this fight here up front for first place, Oba not letting go of Hines. Oh, and Darrell Sr. having an off again. Unfortunately, I think that'll put him back from competing there. Yep, that puts him back past Rude. Meanwhile, further back, you can see here, Oba is sitting a second back off of Hines. Bear sitting 7.9 seconds back off of Oba, having a bit of a rough race. I don't know, maybe he's not gotten enough practice in on this track yet. And Reckless 10 seconds back off of Bear. Darrell Jr. sitting 4.5 seconds back off of Reckless, but you can see here the big fight is definitely for first place. Opa deciding that this evening he is not going to let Hines get away with it. Look at this, deep on the braking through 8, but just swings too wide. Can't get it back under control in time for 9, and Hines crawls on ahead. Oba tried to take the risk there, thought it was worth it, and just couldn't make it stick. Good try, though. He is being really, you can see the front tire where he's got. He is being as aggressive as he can on those front brakes, and it's almost paying off for him. It was working, but he just pushed it too far for one turn, and that cost him. Probably just got a bit too impatient. You can see, though, Bear popping up on Oba's mini-map through the turns. Bear is not going to give up easy. You do not give that man an inch. He will catch you for it. Meanwhile, Darrell Jr. is now only a second off of Reckless. Oh, now he's been pushed back to 2 seconds, so he has lost a bit of what he was holding. Darrell Sr. sitting 17 seconds off of Junior at this point. Reckless falls back to 5th, putting Darrell Jr. in 4th. If he can catch up, he can fight for 3rd with Bear. But we'll see what he can do. Oh, but what are you doing? As we watch him off in the grass there, I'm not sure what he was up to. Ooh. Through 7, trying to pick it up. Reckless putting himself back behind Darrell Sr. But Darrell Sr. being pushed back by Reckless. Darrell Jr. now 20 seconds behind Bear. Bear just having a solid evening. We'll take a look back at that fight. Reckless sitting just off of Darrell Sr. And Darrell Sr. having a wreck. Looking like Reckless managed to push through there. We'll see if he can catch up to Darrell Jr. now. So there we go. We are on lap 5 of 6 at the front of our pack. Oba now 2.8 seconds off of Hines. Hines just having a bit of a better race at this point now that he's warmed up. Look at this. Woo! Reckless and Rude having a bit of fight over 5th place. These two clearly not playing around. Wow. Oh, Reckless having an off. That's going to cost him the shot that he had there, unfortunately. That is rough. That is very rough. Meanwhile, you can see Oba here on the final lap, sitting back off of Hines. We'll see if he can catch him. It's going to be... Oh, no! Bear having an off. Fortunately, he's got a good 30 seconds between him and 4th. So hopefully he can avoid having any more incidents like that. But up front here, Hines basically under pressure of, do not make a mistake, sir, or Oba will catch you immediately. There is no room for error here in this push between 1st and 2nd. As they are coming through 15. Oh, man. Hines had a great drive out from that one. Oba being as late as he can on those brakes. You can see that he's been really using that front tire. Trying to keep up with Hines the entire race. 17. And 18 will be final turn. And that is going to be it. Hines and Oba come across the line 1st and 2nd. You can see here, Bear got a nice solid 3rd. And behind him will be Darrell Jr. looking to finish things up now. And we are just waiting for the race to finish up at this point. And there you go, folks. That'll be your results for the evening. So you're going to have Hines, Oba, and Bear in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Darrell Jr., Rude, and Darrell Sr. 4th, 5th, and 6th. And Vengeance and Reckless rounding out the pack. But again, as always, you can see the lap times Looks like some of these guys are capable of doing better if they can just get the consistency down. All right, that'll be our second race for the evening. Next, it'll be on to qualifying and then the race for MotoGP at Silverstone on the PS4. Thanks for watching, folks. We will be back shortly. Alrighty, folks, it looks like everybody is starting to return and just about ready for MotoGP qualifying. Running a little bit late this evening, admittedly. This is what happens. You get to blame me for this one. I was remiss in my duties as a broadcaster. But there we go. Looks like everybody has readied up. So we are just about ready to start. So here we go. This will be our last qualifying of the evening in prep for our last race of the evening. This will be GP at Silverstone on the PS4. All right. 10 minutes to go as we wait for everybody to hop out onto the field. We'll see how this one goes. Hopefully everybody has enjoyed this evening. As you can see there, Oba, one of our first guys out on the track. Oba, Reckless, Vengeance, and Hines out there quick. See there, Hines out front. As is often the case, never a slow man. Oh, Reckless having a little bit of trouble having to get it together there. Always this transition to GP, the bikes are so much faster. So you can always see people having a little bit of difficulty having to adjust for the first couple of laps. Never exactly easy. I believe Hines and Oba running the Yamahas this evening. So we will see what they can do with them. Reckless also running one of the Yamahas, having a bit of an off there. Oh, and Daryl Sr. having an off as well. Looking like Hines is probably going to turn down the first lap here. Let's get a look at it as we've got just over 7 minutes remaining in qualifying. There you are, 2 minutes, 0.4 seconds. That's going to be the time to beat for now. And Oba manages to set himself 0.7 seconds off of that. Vengeance 7 seconds back. 7.8 seconds, almost 8 seconds back. So we'll see what they can do from there. Meanwhile, you can see Bear running on the Honda this evening. Apparently one of the craziest bikes on the circuit. We'll see what he can do with it. Reckless, unfortunately, having another off. And Daryl Jr. both very close to turning down their first laps. Also running the Hondas as well. And there it is. Gerald Jr. 20 seconds back off of Hines for his lap. Daryl Sr. 10 seconds back. Not bad. Dad throwing down the gauntlet on son. Nothing wrong with that. Show that young man what's up, sir. Show him what's up. Reckless 16 seconds back off of Hines. As we're waiting on Bear. And Rude to finish their first laps. And Bear with a 201.2, not looking too bad at all. But in the meanwhile, Hines has managed to move the top time down to a 158.6. That is not making it easy for the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, you can see Vengeance here putting down personal best for the first 3 sections and manages to keep himself in 4th. Rolling around onto Ducati. Reckless having it off, unfortunately. That leaves him back there in 7th. So between our first, second, and third, you've got basically 3 seconds separating them. Vengeance having a solid but not putting down amazing times lap.
Okay, give me a sec.
You can see Bear here, 2 sections of a personal best, but the third section not so good. I don't know if he'll manage to get into second. We are looking at just about 3.5 minutes remaining in qualifying. We'll see what he can do with it. That 158.6, the time to beat, and Bear puts down a 201.1. Not enough to catch up to Oba. Too bad. We'll see what he can do. Vengeance, meanwhile, on the Ducati. We'll see what he can do. He has a personal best through section 3, but first 2 sections, not as impressive. We'll see if he can catch up here. What can he do with what he's got? 2 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in qualifying. 5.3 seconds, so he does manage to improve just a little bit, I believe, but not enough to catch up to third. Bear very solid in his position. Bear has stepped back into the pits. Meanwhile, Hines is back out on the track. You'll see if he can improve on that 158.6. That's going to be a hell of an ask. Ooh, and Daryl Sr. having an off after earlier in qualifying, leaving Jr. a bit behind. Jr. stepped back and replied by putting a 2.5 seconds on the old man. Ooh, you're going to have to work to catch up to that. 2 minutes remaining. That gives you enough time for another lap or two. And there we go. Rude Can he move down? Yes, he does. He moves himself up into 5th by knocking another couple seconds off his time. Not a bad lap at all. Vengeance, meanwhile, not managing to push it down as he has a bit of a problem there. Oh, that is rough. So let's see what the rest of the pack can do. Let's see if Oba putting a personal best down, but not a group best. Whoa! Tail getting a bit squirrely through 9 and through 10. Oba clearly pushing it. Not messing around at all. And being very aggressive. Clearly aware, hey, this is my last shot for qualifying. He is pushing it as hard as he can. But so far, not turning down group bests. So it's unfortunately probably not going to get him anything on Hines. But it might make it a bit harder for those. And look at this. Oh, wow, through 17. Right up under Darrell Jr. Wow, that's aggressive. Meanwhile, Darrell Sr. suddenly turning down. Oh, unfortunately, he doesn't get to keep it. I'm not sure what's going on there. It looked like he was turning down some amazing times. Something got a bit messed up there. He was looking good for 3 sections. I think maybe he got disqualified in his final section. That is unfortunate. So that 158.6 looking like it's going to be what Hines has. Bear in autopilot, Oba in autopilot. So that's going to be it for them. That's going to say our second, third are where they are. Vengeance, meanwhile, a personal best in second section, but nothing for first, third, and fourth. So I don't think we're going to see him move up the rankings at all. And that is going to be it. There, right there, folks, is going to be your setup for the final race of the evening. It's going to be Hines, Oba, and Bear on your front row. Vengeance, Rude, and Darrell Jr. on your second row, and Darrell Sr. and Reckless rounding things out on the third row. And we are going to go ahead to scoop forward. Everybody doing final setup for the last race of the evening. This will be it for the night at Silverstone on the PS4. Excuse me while your host pours himself some more beer. All right, 1 minute for everybody to get prepped. Hines ready very quickly. You can see everybody starting to get ready here. We are just about ready. There we go, everybody looking good. And that is just about it. Yep. All right, we are going to go ahead and start. As this will be your last race for the evening at Silverstone on the PS4. Here we go, folks. This will be GP class. You got Heinz, Oba, and Bear on your front row. None of those names surprising to hear at all. Heinz with a very solid start. Little bit of nose in the air. Woo! Ditto for Oba. Daryl Sr. pushing into third, and then, oh man, the bowling starts in turn one. Rude flies out, unfortunately, by turn two. Man, oh man. So there you go. Heinz, Oba, Reckless. Daryl Jr. Oh, Daryl Jr. pushing into third. Vengeance having another off. Bear back in fifth. Daryl Sr. Vengeance and Rude. Ways back there. As you can see, the pack kind of trying to sort itself out and figure out where they're going to be. We'll take a look back at Oba's view as he's sitting back in fourth. This has been a rare one for Oba this evening. Obviously got caught up in the mess as everybody went bowling into turn one. Behind Reckless and Daryl Jr., Reckless way off the track. Oba just slipping right past him. Ooh, look at this, a little tight up. Through 13, now into 14. Manages to get under Daryl Jr., but can't make it stick. Can't slip past him. Maybe into 15. Yes, Oba with a very nice line out of 15. Reckless having another off, unfortunately, putting him back behind Bear. Oba looking very solid coming into 17 as we are just about to finish our first lap. We will see if he can catch up to Heinz. He's going to have it all to do because Heinz is having a great evening in GP. Heinz putting down a 2:04.8 during qualifying. It was a 1 minute 58. Obviously, on that first lap, you're not flying, though, so he will probably push that lap time down a lot. Oba definitely getting a look at Heinz really fast here. Rude having another off, unfortunately, putting him back in 8th. Oba, 2.5 back off of Heinz. There's a lot of work to do, but he's got plenty of laps to do it in as they are on the second lap of 7. Ooh, Oba waited a little too late on his brakes there, and Heinz is going to capitalize and start to crawl back ahead. Oh, man. Oh, Oba. Having trouble getting through the chicanes through 8 and 9. Vengeance having it off. Oba tail sliding out, and Heinz not making that mistake. Off he goes. Man, oh man, he is flying ahead. As you can see here, the view from 4th place. Bear doing what he can for now. Ooh, slips up into 3rd place as Daryl Jr. makes a mistake, cuts himself off in 13. Jr. with another off. Ooh, Bear with that sliding rear, but manages to keep himself up. And hangs on to 3rd place. Not looking too bad for him at all.
trying not to go wide. I slammed on my rear.
You can hear a bit of the chatter there.
What's up?
People fighting not to make mistakes here. We are looking there at Reckless. Oh man, at first I had switched to him because he was just off of Darrell Jr., but woo, he has been pushed back. Meanwhile, the fight between Oba and Hines continuing up front. Look at this. Oba being as deep as he can on the brakes. I know we've had a few folks complain a little bit about having the turn markers on there, but you can see the great part about them. They show you how deep in the braking is going for the racers, and Oba during this and during Moto 2 has just been incredibly aggressive on his brakes, just going as deep as he can into every single turn. Look at this. You're seeing a ton of red there. Just a bit too late on that one. Pushes him a bit too wide. But trying desperately to catch up to Hines. Just crossing his fingers. Hines makes a mistake on braking at some point. These two just being really aggressive with each other the entire way around the track. Darrell Sr. unfortunately having an off at the back of the pack already, so that's going to put him further back, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Hines has stretched out his lead over Oba to 2.5 seconds. Really, really making it obvious how fast he's gotten at this track at this point. If there's one thing you don't do, don't let Hines out ahead of you. 2 seconds. 0.085. Still 0.2 seconds off of his time during qualifying, but enough that he is winning by a considerable margin at this point. Hines, though, managing to just continue to stretch things out. As you can see here, the view from fourth, Darrell Jr. with Reckless all over him. Our times have yet to update, but it's clear that his position there in fourth is not secure. Yep, as they are coming into 7. Ooh, Reckless all over Darrell Jr. Man, oh man, he hasn't got it easy coming into here, coming through the chicanes into 8 and 9. Looking like he's probably a bit more solid. Ooh, very wide into 10. Wide through 11 as well. There's a lot of running wide on this track. Rude having another off, unfortunately. As Darrell Sr. has it off as well. Meanwhile, Junior has managed to push up to under 2 seconds off of Bear. And you can see Bear there in the foreground. Maybe he's going to catch him. Ooh, we'll see. We will certainly see. We'll take a look at Bear's view currently.
You're probably playing with one hand. Like, he's just relaxing. I know.
You can see there, Darrell Jr. is starting to show up a little bit in the rear, but it looks like Bear, in the meantime, has actually managed to stretch things out. Not looking too shabby. Hines, meanwhile, has put a 5.5 second lead on Oba, as we only have 2 laps to go in this race. Bear, meanwhile, just being pushed way far back by Hines and Oba. This is just not an easy race at all. Silverstone being a really challenging circuit. If you haven't got it down solid, by God, this race punishes you. Big time.
For you. I'll wait for you. That was bad. Literally.
You can see the view from Hines here up front.
What did you do? Did you park it in the corner?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I went really inside. I went in the grass on the inside and then came back in and just.
As you can hear the chatter there behind everybody talking, and there goes Hines putting down a 1:59.7. Wow, he is flying, almost caught up to his qualifying time at this point. And sitting 7.3 seconds ahead of Oba. Ooh, Reckless having an off, unfortunately. You can see here Oba through the chicanes. There we go, leaving 5 and 6. But Hines 7.5 seconds ahead. Oh, and Oba, there he goes. Man, oh man, the likelihood at this point of catching Hines up there in first not looking very good. That is unfortunate. Meanwhile, 23 seconds back, and you can see part of why the distance is that far back. Bear having a bit of a time getting around the track. Yeah, it's unfortunate. He is definitely pushed back there. It's going to be really hard for him to catch up to second, even with Oba making those mistakes. That still leaves Oba with over 20 seconds to work with. And now Hines with over 10 seconds to work with. Yeah, Oba sitting 12.8 seconds back off of him. Not much can be done there with us on the penultimate lap. It always has to be said with the British accent. Penultimate. And Darrell Jr. sitting 5.6 seconds back off of Bear. We'll see if he can catch it up. Bear better not make any mistakes, as Junior will be getting looks at him through some of the turns. As meanwhile, you can see Reckless a second and a half back off of Vengeance in sixth. Wow, way off the... Oba having it off again. We'll see if Bear can close the distance any further. It is the final lap at this point, but if Oba doesn't keep it together, he might get caught by Bear on the final lap. That would be a mistake. You can see Reckless there picking up the nose a bunch. Putting himself almost 3 seconds ahead of Vengeance.
Smooth for me.
Mine's at 45%.
18? What did you do, Oba?
Yeah.